Shalum, shalom, and welcome. Welcome to the Inward Man segment or installment number 10. My name is Symmanayah. Let's get started. These words are to you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, to you who are indeed an awakening nation, set apart by the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the reflections that are stirring what's inside of me at this moment in time. I proclaim the names Yahuah and Yahusha. These words are to those who will witness and be participants of the rise of the 144,000 and great multitude, as mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter. To you, O Yasharal, to you who will become known as the children of Yahuah, the children of obedience. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the final Exodus have many things that are necessary for our unity. But with that said, this is what is stirring in my mind at this moment in time, and that is the ways of Yahuah, the ways of Yahuah. Hear me out, O Yasharal. Hear me out, O set apart children of the Most High Yahuah. The ways of Yahuah, discern the truth. When it comes to understanding and discerning what is right, we know among us there are so many different interpretations, so many different positions of truth, what's right, what's set apart. We know that there are those who discern the living voice of the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name, and we know those who are perpetrators. And we will discover those who are wolves in sheep clothing. Oh, Yasharal, I want to bring your attention. There seem to be oftentimes when there's a disagreement, I've seen the swift talker, those who may be learned in the text and snatch the text to justify their actions, to shut one down or to speak swiftly. I've heard them say when one say, I believe the Spirit of Yahuah, or some even said the Ruach, which means spirit, or the Ruach HaKodesh is set apart spirit, but the name of that set apart spirit is indeed Yahusha's spirit. Consider John 14:26. My brothers and sisters, I've heard many mores and teachers and outspoken people who manipulate and grab the scriptures for their own gain. Yes, we've seen people cherry pick, but there are also those used and guided by the Spirit of Yahuah to present a snapshot of parts of scriptures without causing conflict. We must grow to realize that it is the Spirit of Yahuah that will direct us to the appropriate scriptures for the appropriate and applicable times. But sometimes I've seen outspoken people try to shut someone down when they say they are compelled to believe that this is what's being said. And they'll throw this verse out. Hear these words, O Yasharal. Isaiah 55:8 they'll throw out often, where it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahuah. So when you start talking about what I believe and everything and what I'm compelled to believe or what I think, all too often, if it becomes a debate or discussion, sometimes a person will try to shut you down and say that Yahuah's thoughts are not your thoughts. His thoughts are not our thoughts. Neither are his ways our ways. But I want to say to you, my brothers and sisters, do not allow one to shut you down and convince you for something because they cannot discern what is true. There are things we will discern that are true that the wicked and undiscerning, or just the rebellious, or those who appear to be learned but are actually unlearned in the living presence of understanding the true word. Hear me out, O Yasharal. Sure, we in ourselves, our ways, our thoughts are not Yahuah's thoughts or his ways, we in ourselves. But we who have been joined to Yahuah by Yahusha HaMashiach have been made one in spirit by him. We who are his tabernacles will reflect his ways working in us, through us, one towards another. Let me bring your attention to some verses, my brothers and sisters. Next time someone is swift to say his ways are not our ways, to try to shut you down, if you indeed believe the Most High has given you something, consider these words. Deuteronomy 8th chapter, verses 5 and 6 says, thus you shall know in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so Yahuah your Elohim disciplines you. Therefore you shall guard the commands of Yahuwah, your Almighty One, and to walk in his ways and fear him. He would not give us instruction to walk in his ways. If we walk in his ways, then the ways that we are reflecting, if they are indeed the reflection of an obedient servant, is his ways. Our ways become his ways if we're walking in obedience. Oftentimes, I don't hear anyone put that qualifier on there. They're just quick to shut people down. Consider 1 Kings, 2nd chapter. 1 Kings, 2nd chapter, verse 3. It reads, and guard the charge of Yahuwah, your Almighty One, to walk in his ways. I'm going to read that again. To walk in his ways, to guard his laws, his commands, his right rulings, and his witnesses. As it is written in the Torah of Moshe, so that you do wisely all that you do and wherever you turn. So that Yahuwah, and I'm reading the 4th verse, so that Yahuwah does establish his word which he spoke concerning. He's saying, if your sons guard their way to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their being, saying, there is not to cease a man of yours on the throne of Yasharal. With the emphasis is he would not give us instructions to walk in his ways if it was not possible. So will we sometimes out of obedience find ourselves growing, refined, disciplined, and walking in his ways? Will we not find that his way, our way becomes his way when we are walking in obedience and demonstrating full discernment to his words, his right rulings? Let me also take you to 1 Kings 3rd chapter, my brothers and sisters. 1 Kings 3rd chapter, verse 14. And if you walk in my ways to guard my laws and my commandments as your father David walked, then I shall prolong your days. Here we see the Most High saying, if we walk in his ways. Would you think he would be encouraging us to walk in his ways if we couldn't? And if we are walking and obedient in his ways, then the ways of Yahuwah becomes our way. Do not be shut down when you get something from the Most High that opens your eyes to what is indeed true. I want to read one more verse, and that's Psalms 128:1. Psalms 128, verse 1. And it reads as follows. Blessed are all who fear Yahuwah, who walk in his ways. So again, I say to you, my brothers and sisters, it's stirred in my spirit to present this message before you, O Yasharal. The ways of Yahuwah are present before us to those who are walking in obedience to him. And sometimes, my brothers and sisters, the flesh war against the spirit. Sometimes there will be intermittent demonstrations of the ways of Yahuwah flowing within us. So hear these words, O Yasharal, and discern what is true and why these words are important for such a time as this. Proclaiming the name Yahuwah and Yahusha is important. The rise of the 144,000 in great multitude. All too often I've seen so many brothers and sisters just neglecting that the scriptures say, and there was a great multitude in addition to the 144,000. I've seen so many put just focus on the 144,000. This will end putting just emphasis on the 12 tribes. Because even the 12 tribes that are mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter, if you search the scripture, they will be identified, but all in all, the banner will be one banner. That one banner will be Yasharal, which is commonly known by many the name Israel. And I'm not talking about the country, and I'm not talking about the synagogue of Satan. I'm talking about those who are the set apart children of Yahuwah. Pray and watch. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. The inward man, each of us have a spirit that's stirred within inside of us. Each of us will find and discover that our spirit joined with Yahuwah, and by his spirit sent in Yahusha's name, made possible by the sacrifice, the resurrection, made possible by his living spirit. We are one in spirit. We are one in family. We are the set apart nation of Yasharal. Be encouraged. Our redemption draws near. And my prayer is that we grow in wisdom and discernment. My prayer is that we grow in good health, and that our eyes are open, our ears are made to hear and listen clearly to what the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha, sent in Yahusha's name, has to say as it is stated in John 14:26. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, be encouraged. Lift your head up and know that our redemption draws near. Shalom, shalom, shalom.